All right. Hello, Jack.
Oh, hey. I resonated with a lot of that. Um, Especially like right off the bat. I mean, you just started touching on stuff that I'm working through right now, and um, yeah, my focus just went, and that was really cool because I feel like my focus has been spotty, um, but yeah, something that you were talking about with like with ego, which has been a big thing of mine. Lately, I've been trying to decipher ego, and I think I found like a construct that I can apply to about just about anything to find ego. And and it's really simple, actually. It's actually using an infinitive to describe or label a finite thing or whatever, something defined. So it's really useful for me. Because I'm always trying to battle between, this and that, just like what you're saying, like good and evil, try to be this and not that, and that and not this. And so, it just had me bouncing around everywhere. And I was just like, after seeing ego on so many different levels, I finished a book called Heart Exercise from Atomic to Cosmic, just showing all the different levels of dynamics. And ultimately, I call it ego. Energy is ego. And so essentially what I came to was there's nothing left other than being me. Like there's no real choice other than the choice that I feel like making. You know what I mean? Instead of following the rules of the ego. So that's how I finished it, which was after showing ego on all these levels, like what else is there at that point? There's
Yeah.
but
And that's the beauty of this matrix system. This is the beauty and the genius of it that most people don't identify with. Took me a while, is that when you look at all the distractions that are going on, whether it's giving your power away to a religious doctrine, whether it's sporting events, car racing, this, that, and the other, it's just constant. It's just one distraction after another. And the way we're being actually tightly controlled now with AI moving in, and it's going to look pretty grim on the planet. It's going to look really grim, like all is lost and this, we're totally subjugated as a race, completely dominated. It's going to look like that, okay? But appearance only, though. Appearance only. That, what are you left with? What's it forcing you to do? It's forcing you that everything externally they've got total control of, and you just left one place to go. And so it's serving us really in such a fantastic way that it's forcing you to go within.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
I mean, once you start seeing both sides of it, just like what you're saying, living, you got to live both sides. Like you got to know what a servant feels like. You also have to know what it's like to be served. And then once you know it's both, I mean, at times you're going to have to serve someone, at times you're going to have to be served, then it's just like there's a better understanding of how we go about it, and ultimately it leads to respect. It's not like I deserve to be served or you deserve to be served by me. It's like it's just hard to describe. But that was my question. I don't know if we just answered it, but I was just wondering why is this ego and then the heart isn't ego? Like why is brain consciousness so bad and then heart consciousness isn't so bad? So I didn't know if
that's a misnomer that mind is bad and heart is good. That's another dialectic that's been created, especially by the New Age religion. No, mind is important. It's an important interface. Consciousness, the part of you that is consciousness, mind energy is one of the other variables. You could say the fourth variable, in the equation is one of the unifying fields of manifested reality, not through everything that exists in the universe, but through manifested reality. All has been manifested in the great arena of the universe, for example, the grand cosmic arena, the universe in manifested form as we know it. mind energy is the interface from the soul essence of a being is projected consciousness. And the consciousness, which is universal cosmic mind energy, is then that interface which then permeates or is able to step down the soul expression energy into, because it breaks down into elements. So the soul expression goes into consciousness, and consciousness breaks down into elements of love, knowledge, masculine and feminine. The medicine wheel again, but its highest level of components and expression in the universe, right? And all governed by the intersection in the middle, which is the eternal ether, which is really your soul expression emanating out of the middle, are rearranging those elements in whatever form is to be manifested in a universal expression there. So what we have in the realm of consciousness is a very important aspect of our being. I'm not poo-pooing consciousness. What I'm exposing is that there is the God entity who resides in consciousness, because that's the only place ego can reside. It's the environment and the ecosystem for ego to actually thrive in and exist in has to be a mind construct. It can't exist in the soul and in the pure context of unconditional love. It can't reside there. It is an expression from that realm. It is not completely residing in that realm, because it needs insecurities, it needs, distortions and ego constructs. They need all those other forms of expressions for it to feed off, to give it power so it can thrive. That's its food, that's how it's nourished, through fear, insecurity, power, desire, all those elements that it needs to feed off. So it can only reside in consciousness, and what I'm exposing here is the pursuit of consciousness only, mind enlightenment, the kundalini hitting the pineal gland, and all the spiritual doctrine on the planet at the moment is all about a high level of consciousness. That's enlightenment to a lot of people. But consciousness is just part of what we are in this universe. But people are saying out there that we are all infinite consciousness and there's nothing else. Everything is made of consciousness. Well, they can't see beyond it. They haven't experienced self beyond the construct of the cosmic ego which resides in consciousness. So people are reconnecting to their cosmic level ego, which is amazing, because you really, through that realm of universal mind construct, you connect to everything in the universe. You see the universe through consciousness, but you're seeing it through mind. That's the problem, and we've got to understand that that is just one part of what we are, but it's an important part of what we are. However, this entity resides only in that realm, and it wants to suck people in, and then everybody just sees the universe through its lenses, through the way it experiences the universe as consciousness. That's the problem. So I think that sort of information that I just shared with you will really help you to differentiate between the ego constructs which reside in our mind. Then from here we go to the cosmic ego residing in consciousness, and we need to transcend the cosmic ego and get to that. We've got to go through consciousness altogether, beyond it, back home to the soul.
Yeah, I definitely saw that when I went to Colorado recently, and they showed me more of that mind consciousness. That's where I kind of saw it more. Just because everyone talks about a lot of things, but I still got that vibe that they were creating a class of consciousness, like, oh, you aren't as conscious. And so still there's that hierarchy just with consciousness. And I was like, I don't actually want to move here as much anymore. But it's still a pretty place. But
it's the buzzword at the moment. And, and if it's being disseminated, even quantum mechanics and everything, they're saying, quantum physics, they're saying, because they've discovered consciousness, now they're saying it's consciousness. It's a new buzzword, and it's been propagated all over the planet. The moment that happens, then you've got to go, whoa, wait on a minute. Why is the media hitting on it? Why is that whole conglomerate of global control, that system, all of a sudden favouring consciousness? There's got to be something to it. You've got to take a step back and go, whoa. The warning flag up for me whenever that happens. So that's not key to it.
Well, I don't want to hold time from anyone else, but I do have one question that you don't have to answer right now because I have way more questions and I'm going to book a session. But
Okay.
the question is, why? What separates consciousness from a 3D level to a 5D level to a 10D level or whatever dimension you're going for? So why do we have those different bubbles of consciousness? Why aren't we aware fully? What creates that separation? So that's definitely something I'd like to touch on in the next session. But hopefully I do that sometime soon. I'll send you an email or something.
Yeah,
I'll just quickly answer.
Oh, okay.
Because there's different levels of reality, so you've got different expressions of consciousness required for the manifestation of different levels of reality. So consciousness in itself is made up of, an unbelievable number of different levels of expression of itself. So mind functions on many different levels. So I'll go deeper into it. That was the quick answer. I'll go deeper into it with you in the session.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks a lot. Thank you, Sam, for letting me go a little bit longer. Thanks, Adrian.
Hello, Julia. Julia Gray.
Yeah, I was just wondering about life after death, and I know that there's a matrix here on the earth, but when you transition into the other side, is all that within the matrix as well, with the reincarnation and such like? Are we supposed to go in within the reincarnation process, or are we supposed to go further into where we're supposed to be from, or right into our core essence? Did you get that?
You're on mute, George. We can't hear you. Somehow you got muted.
No.
No, we heard you. I can't hear George. George?
Sorry, I got some of that question. It was to do with reincarnation, and it was, I didn't quite get it all.
Yeah, are we really supposed to go through the reincarnation process, or is that part of the afterlife still part of the matrix, or are we supposed to go straight on to our core essence? Are we trapped within the matrix still when we pass over?
Yeah, well, it's set up for different people depending on their soul journey. So let's say somebody who's taking that journey into a religious construct, then they're going to go to the realms of that entity. Their spirit will go there, part of their spirit will go there, and they will have an experience in that realm. And then they'll be put back on Earth by that entity. You hear people say, I was told I had to incarnate on Earth. God told me I had to, or I was forced to incarnate, or I didn't have a choice in the matter, And you'd be surprised how many forced incarnations are taking place in this world, and there's an agenda behind that, which I won't go into now because it's a big story. However, when someone passes over, it's a case-by-case basis. It's not one rule fits all. So there are some people that will just go back to their star system in this galaxy, for example. They might go back to the Pleiades, or they might go back to Arcturus and go back home to their star system. For other people, they're recycling back into a system that they're caught up in until they actually can free themselves from it. So it's the confusing thing is one person will say, I passed over and I experienced this. And then people think, well, that's how it is. But it's not. There's all different setups for all different people depending on where they're at in their journey in the universe. So some people are reincarnating from the plant kingdom. So there's trees, beings that are living in the tree kingdoms on this planet, and they're incarnating in the human form. There's beings that are incarnating from the interdimensional other layers on this world. There are beings that are incarnating from the aquatic kingdoms, for example, on this planet into the human kingdom. There's all sorts of different kinds of incarnations, and they all have different purposes for incarnating. Is there a matrix construct that's trying to apprehend as many spirits as they can? Absolutely. So that's taking place as well. And again, it's a case-by-case basis.
Right. Are you still there? I can't hear you.
So
Hello?
for some beings, for some people, they, what was I going to say? They need to reincarnate, and for some beings, their reincarnation may have a long period of time between incarnations. It depends. It really just depends on the individual experience required by that soul and that spirit.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you all for what you're doing. This is brilliant thing you're doing.
Thank you, Julia. Appreciate the question.
Okay, next up then is Mark. Mark Tobacco. Hello?
Yeah, hi. Hi, Adrian. How you doing?
I'm alright. Have you got video?
Yeah. Hang on. Is that better? I just thought I'd inject a bit of humour into the room, seeing we're all pirates and rebels here today.
You're right. Good on you, Mark.
Of course, I'm here for serious matters as well, but, you know, a bit of humour doesn't go astray.
Oh, fantastic. Good to see you again, Mark.
George, and good to see you too, Sienna. And thanks for facilitating all the tech, Adrian. So actually, my question is for George, and it's actually in relation to some of the points that were discussed just recently. To do with like soul contracts, I've come across the work where individuals are suggesting that you can do soul contract revocations in a spiritual court of equity. Is that something that you resonate with?
No. No, it's not. To revoke soul contracts will create unfinished business for you in the universe.
So so in other words, everything we've agreed to before coming here, we have to see through. There's no shortcuts, or you can't basically remove any of the additional clauses that may have been put on through the actual matrix system.
Okay. Well, it depends on where these additional clauses were actually attached from. So, yeah, if there's clauses that have been attached from a system of law that thinks it has a right to attach extra clauses into your agreement, then, yeah, by all means, you can say, well, that doesn't apply. You know, it's not going to happen. It doesn't apply. So that extra clause has no power over me when you have that level of awareness to do that, you know. But as far as trying to break a contract or revoke a contract, revoke an agreement, I don't resonate with that at all. For me, my soul needs to live experiences. There are co-created agreements that have been put in place that emanate from the soul level. This is what I guess the differentiation needs to be made here very clear, that these are soul level agreements.
I'll give you an example. Like, I see some people doing revocations against the media systems, the banking systems. Does that sort of make sense to you? Like, I kind of resonate more with what you were saying before, whereas we've got to work with these systems. They're not going to go away. They might change form, and it's better to just sort of, you know, navigate your way through it as you're actually becoming more aware and, if anything, using it just like we're using the internet today, right?
There are some people that's exactly right, and there are some people that only know how to speak that language, so that's how they're going about it, and maybe that'll work for them, but it'll only work to a certain degree. If they really want to get to that place of self-empowerment that, well, I think it was Ronald was speaking of earlier, then we really have to understand how to change our relationship with the matrix system and learn how to work with it. And for me, when we come from this background level, that's the overpowering level. And all that other minor level of agreements, they all naturally get dissolved as a byproduct of, because we're working on the foundational level.
Yep.
So
gotcha.
you could get bogged down in the detail, you got to change that agreement, revoke that, blah, 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 and you get bogged down in the detail. I'm working on a lot more of those shallow levels. So I'm just saying, you know, if people want to work on that level, they can. That's their journey to do that. However, for me, that's no good for me. I don't want to work over here and get bogged down in all that detail. I want to go straight to the core, straight to the overlaying authority in this whole construct and this dynamic and this relationship I'm having, and I want to go straight for that because everything will filter through after that. I just want to go straight to the top. No more messing around.
And the way we do that is, like you said, it's actually through your actual heart soul, right? So there was discussion about egos and, well, you know, the ego is necessary to keep, like, the dualistic nature of both the ego and the heart in balance because, you know, like you said, the ego that's been influenced by the controller of the matrix, but then we have the natural ego through the sun. And same with the heart. We've got the natural heart. We've also got the heart sort of ruled by the moon. So, you know, and so it's bringing all that into balance, but actually going through your heart to get to your soul. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. Go straight to the deepest and greatest, most powerful aspect of us all. That is you can call it like the source creative power that resides deep within us. That we are truly one with the Creator, the galactic being, the solar system, and the planet, and the overall human organism as a collective. So the group soul essence of the human species as well. So that being what we call humanity, you know, the relationship we're having with that as well. So these are at the deepest levels of the authoritative construct and framework and the parameters we're actually functioning within. And then the rest of all that other stuff, that's all minor detail, and it's so easy to get bogged down in all of that. And I don't want to. I just want to go straight to the big stuff. And then that stuff just is an automatic byproduct. It all gets taken care of.
Yeah, that makes sense. And even from my own experience, I've realised that in the end, it really just comes down to truth and unconditionality in the sense of love, like what really true love is, because that's exactly how this whole construct came to be anyway, right? Wasn't it made in an unconditional way?
Yes.
Like this universe I'm talking about, not the actual matrix itself, but the universe that the matrix sits within. So if we're going to...
The matrix was created in an unconditional way, otherwise it couldn't have both positive and negative aspects expressing
okay. Yeah, but because it's got that overlying agenda on it, it's sort of out of balance. That's the other thing you were talking about earlier. You always got to be from a point of balance. You know, obviously, if you're on either side, then obviously you're not your true centered self.
Correct.
Which doesn't mean to say you have to be passive. Because I get passionate and worked up about things all the time, but it's just using that energy constructively.
Correct. That's what I'm doing. You got to get passionate. You got to, that fire in the belly. You got to have that.
It's always there, mate. It's always there. You know. My DNA's part Sicilian, mate. I'll never lose it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing because, like you said, the moment you understand how to actually channel that energy in an appropriate way, it's so effective. You know, it's how any artist operates. It's how any warrior functions. It's how any athlete functions. You know, it's really understanding how to get that inner energy to flow outwardly and manage it properly and intend it in a particular way that it's going to be manifesting that reality that you wish to manifest.
Yeah, that's true. And also navigating your way through it, you're sort of flowing like water flows. That's like what Bruce Lee used to say.
It's a fountain. Think of yourself like a fountain, your inner light coming out, that authenticity coming out. It's like this fountain, and it just pours out and emanates from within you. And you get to decide where you're going to project that emanation, how you're going to use that energy that is just busting to come out from within you. This is the birthing of the new you.
So we will have different paths, but we'll all get to the same place in the end.
Correct.
George?
Co-creational experiences will be different based on how we express ourselves.
So, Mark, we've got to move on to the next question.
Thanks, George. It's been an awesome discussion, and really appreciate the time in the question-answer session. So thanks very much. And thanks also, Sienna and Adrian.
Thanks for your humour. That was awesome.
Thought, since we had a bit of humour at the interval, I thought I'd share some as well.
Right. Hello, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Rose.
Okay. George, thank you. I've read your book and also listen to your audiobook all the time. And thank you so much for all that you've done. And I'm in the Embody You group with Sienna and Kelly, which has been wonderful.
Nice, Elizabeth. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thanks. Like I was saying, I was kind of getting stuck in a place where I was considering doing holographic kinetics with Steve Richards because he's coming to the U.S. In the spring. And then also I've been hearing and reading websites about just different shaman types of healing and things like that. And they all kind of point to like past lives and past life regressions and all that. And I don't actually remember anything about my past lives. I've never had like one of those sessions before. And I'm just wondering, what do you think about that whole the past life thing? Do you think it's necessary for one to be healed through the past lives in order to move forward? And I'm, with the holographic kinetics, that kind of deals with a different level of it as well. Like, in a way, I'm kind of feeling kind of exhausted with this whole delving into the past to try to heal oneself. It's like I want to stand in my own empowerment in a way to, just to get beyond that and, stand in my infinite empowerment.
Those sorts of methods are certainly helpful for people. Certainly helpful. They can create problems in people. They can, if not handled properly. And for people like yourself, what I'm picking up with you, Elizabeth, is I feel that you've already healed most of your past life stuff, and you're just not feeling them. It's just the calling's not there. So it's kind of like because other people are doing it, you think you should be doing it, yeah. But you're probably not picking up that it's probably not in your best interest to actually get through that journey, that you need to be moving on to somewhere else rather than that. For some people, it's important for them to go through that. It helped me because I needed it, but I don't feel that you need it.
Okay, excellent. I was feeling the same thing, but I was thinking maybe am I wrong in having that thought?
No, what happens is we kind of feel guilty because it's like when I used to go to meditation groups, all the people are blissing out and doing their chakra thing, and I used to sit there, I used to go, well, it doesn't feel right. What's wrong with me? That's the first thing we do because it's working for them and it's all really good for them, but what's wrong with me? And then you come to realise further down the track, in hindsight, which is a beautiful thing, that your resonance field of your body and your being is actually beyond the paradigm of those practices.
Yeah, awesome. Right. I've had this experience too with
meditation. That's how I made that comment to you earlier that you probably don't need it because when I feel into your being, the vibrational field of your being is not what I'm doing is I'm feeling the vibrational field of those practices, and the vibrational field of your being is not a match. You're actually vibrating beyond those realms. So for me, you're already transcended the need for those sorts of healing modalities.
That's excellent.
Not to say that there's not one out there that would help you.
Okay.
You know, it might be a different thing altogether rather than this past life stuff. It might be a completely different healing modality because there's lots of them out there. Or maybe you just don't need any. Maybe you're already so well on your path that you can just be happy being your own being and now focus on actually stepping into the creator, into your creatorship, getting into that place of authority and start forging this new path in this world that you need to forge, and not thinking that you've got still a whole bunch of healing to do. Because when we start getting into that creatorship, then we are actually, as we go through that process of manifesting the reality, we're at the same time being presented with what needs to be addressed within ourselves, and we go about addressing them. So we're in this continuous healing process. So when we get into that flow of life, we're manifesting, we're healing, we're learning, we're progressing forward, we're asserting our authority, we're empowering ourselves, and everything happens at the same time simultaneously. It's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it is, and that's why I resonate with everything you've been saying with the fundamental purpose roundtable you had, and now this here. It's like everything is just resonating so greatly and deeply, and the whole creative, being a creator is like really touching me really deeply. So thank you, George, and I'm excited to see what else is next.
Okay, you're welcome. I think we've lost Adrian.
No, I'm here.
Really? Oh.
Oh, have you made me host?
Sorry?
Yeah, it looks
I've
like,
got a sign up.
yeah,
That
it says George Kavassilas host. Did you switch him to host?
No.
Weird.
Well, it got me as host. I haven't clicked OK yet.
Maybe there was an internet connection and it's defaulted, perhaps.
Okay, can you get it back?
I can get it back, but let's put on let's put on the next question, and I'll do that behind the scenes. Hello, Alison.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, Adrian.
Hello.
Hi, Sienna. Hi, George. Hi, Tata.
Hello.
I just want to say real quick, I can say too, I think it was Patty early on who talked about the dream, and I just wanted to acknowledge her. I've had that dream too. It was, I think, last spring, but yeah, just wanted to add that. So.
That's a big dream that we've had. That was a big... Well, we can continue to call it a dream.
Yeah,
It was a big time travel experience we all had,
yeah,
the way I see it.
It was real time. It was a different time, but it was real. Well, we're waiting for that. I'll just go ahead and that, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Just a couple of things and then a question. I wanted to thank you for it gelled for me, finally, the disrespecting thing.
Do we lose Allison? Looks like her mic went bad. Some strange phenomena going on here behind the scenes. Can you get her back?
All right, just one moment.
Okay, well, let's go on, and maybe we'll get Allison back. She might have left the room by now and just not put her hand down, Adrian. If people don't respond, we can just go on to the next one. Wow, we're getting messed with.
Wow, I can see his video.
Yeah. We may need to.
WebEx has gone funky.
I think AI is having a hissy fit. Just too many truth frequencies going on here.
We can see George's video, but we can't hear him.
George, we can't hear you. I guess you know that.
Alison, are you back?
Maybe I could just say a few closing things. We'll try to get George back in. George, maybe you want to exit the room and come back in. Sometimes that works. Allison, you might try the same if you can hear me. I did want to mention to all of you before all was said and done about this coming year with RISE. Can you mute your mic while you're typing, Adrian? Yeah. there's a lot going to be happening in RISE this year, and so please join our newsletter if you haven't. We're going to have 2 new Embody You groups. This is using Kelly Lachey's workbook, and this is dealing a lot with a lot of the issues what we're talking about. It's a place to partner to get support for these changes, to do a bit of movement towards your sovereignty, to clear blocks, to define your intentions within a community that supports your emergence into your authentic being and your authentic presence. It's been incredibly profound, and there are a few spaces left. You can go check that out on the website under EU. We're busily planning, well, George is going to have his course coming out. He can talk more about that. We're going to have Edie Lorgan is going to do a Love Bite roundtable on February 28th with Bernard Gunther and James Bartley and some others. That's going to be incredible. So please tune into that. On February 7th, part 2 of Man and Woman with Becca and James. They're dear friends of mine, have incredible wisdom, and they're newbies on the block, but give them a chance. I think that you will be very nurtured by their incredible dedication, their artistry, and their profound wisdom. We are going to be having humanitarian projects through RISE. We're asking people to find your favorite mentor, go through the mentors, go through the different courses, and that will be posted on the website soon so that beings with this level of understanding move into uplifting and fulfilling and serving humanity, and so we're going to include that whole aspect. We're open to We're actually going to try to create some ground crew tours with George. We're hoping to get him here to South America this June, where we can do some in-depth connecting and sharing and community building. There's just a lot going on. We're open to your ideas. We are creating a field and a space for for you to be supported in this level of emerging truth, and we're so delighted and honored to do it. So please check back with us, and you put your toe in the water, you might consider foot in 2015. Okay, so how are we doing? Is George back in the room?
Hello, can you hear me?
And we can see you, Alison. Excellent, as you were.
So I was just about to ask, and thank you. Thanks for hanging with us. So the imposition, I started to ask about, I wanted, in the last round table, George, you were going to speak a little bit about, or not imposition, but intention, about how you move through supermarkets and the airport and just some of those tools of how to properly set our intent, or walk through that. Do you remember?
Okay, well, first of all, the background template for all that is I need to have a level of acceptance and a level of love. So I lovingly accept that they have a place in this world today. Otherwise, Mother Earth would not allow them to be here, and they wouldn't be part of our co-created process. So if I'm experiencing it, I'm engaging with it, it's part of my co-creative process. However, when I'm confronted with an airport scanner or whatever, then I just set my boundaries in my relationship with it. I take on no ill effects of your emanations and your expressions. You talk to it, treat it like another living entity, because you're in a relationship. Everything's alive. Even though as inanimate as something like an airport scanner may seem, it's still made up of the same stuff that we're made up of. It's life force. So once again, the dynamics of that relationship, you're about to walk through the scanner. Okay, I understand you want to scan me, and you just say it internally while you're waiting in line. I make no further agreements with you, no further contracts, and I actually will not accept any ill effects from you whatsoever. And I put my body out of phase of your ill-intended emanations. So that is the languaging I use, and it works fantastically. I sit in a plane and, you know, breathing all the other people's carbon dioxide that comes out of their mouths and their noses. I don't want to take on any of their crap. Again, I make no further contracts and agreements, and I do not take on any ill effects of your ill-intended emanations. Bang, done. So it's just about setting your boundaries with everywhere you go and everything you do. Someone's coughing and sneezing, I hug them. I don't care. I'll hug them. I have no fear of that, because what I say in that moment is, well, that belongs to them. It's got nothing to do with me. So there you go. You set your boundaries with that thing. You're telling your immune system in that moment exactly what's going on. So you're instructing your immune system how to deal with whatever comes your way, you see. It's beautiful. Works every time. Ever since I started doing that, I've never hugged somebody who's very ill and got their whatever they have, whether it's the flu or it's the cold or it's whatever. Never happened.
That folds into what you were saying about the authority. We have that authority. We have that authority to say, I say no, I acknowledge a situation and then just say no, thank you. And that's just the exercise of that authority. We can do that.
Yeah.
So thank you. That expands on that. That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Okay. I'll let them, if there's somebody else, one more person. Good to see you.
See you, Alison. It's nice to see you again.
Good to see you too, George.
Time now. It's been 4 hours and I'm getting tired, to be honest.
Yeah, it gets too long. We're going to do everything we can to do these on a regular basis. George's course is coming soon, this just seems to be such a beautiful venue, and there's so much cross-fertilization and love and truth being shared that I'm hoping that we meet this way with George often and go deeper and experience aspects. And then so tell us what's coming for you next, how people can interface with you and your work this year, George, before we go.
Well, I'm having a lot of success with the one-on-one mentoring I'm doing with people. It's a lot of fun. It really is a transformative process. I'm going to be offering another service down the track where I'm going to be able to go, this is down the track, where I'm going to be able to go and visit people and spend a weekend with them and do a one-on-one mentoring over a period of a weekend. So that's a service I'm going to be offering down the track. And obviously there's going to be costs involved because of the transport and depending on the location of where these people are at. So that's a bit of a hurdle that needs to be overcome. But, you know, if people are able to facilitate that, then that's fantastic. Because I find when I sit down and I actually spend time with people in their company, then the more we get to know each other, the more we delve into the actual construct of the person, and we can go really deep into things. And I've been already doing that here in Australia. I'm doing one-on-one mentoring in person, and it's proving really, really successful. I'm also looking to, once the course is up and running, to create weekend workshops around the world. So this year and into the next year, there's going to be a lot of travel for me, traveling about the place. So hopefully I get to see some of you beautiful people when I do some talks at events and what have you. So it's going to be, you know, the last year for me has been very internal, very deeply restructuring for me. And now this year I feel is the year where we all actually get to implement outwardly what we've restructured internally. So I think now is when the outer world is going to start catching up with our inner world. So it's a very beautiful process at hand. I really like Rise Multiversity. I have a lot of time and love and respect for Sienna and Adrian. These are two of the finest people I know, and I have a lot of joy working with them, and because we commune behind the scenes, you know, on a private level as well. And I've dealt with a lot of people in this world, and it's not too often you get to meet people of such caliber. So thank you, Sienna, and thank you, Adrian, for creating such an amazing environment and community for people to really start coming together. because there's going to be beautiful things that will grow and blossom out of Rise. I just know it. Yeah, good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Yes, we do want there to be communities eventually that come out of this, places where we actually live in this new way together and support each other. We started online as an outreach program because it was available to us, but we know that hanging out for 4 hours at a time in AI isn't the juiciest way to connect. So yeah, the world tour really sounds like a great idea where we connect, we interface, we build things together, we work on projects together, we follow our passion together. We are soul family. We're coming together. It isn't all about us talking at you and taking money from you. It's really the real deal where we show up and support each other in this emergence. And so more to come. Your ideas, your feedback, let us know. We can, yeah.
Also, I'd like to thank everybody who's participated in this. Without you, really, these events are not possible. And without your love and support, I would not be where I am today. So I want you to understand that your interest in what I'm doing here in this world is helping me to continue what I'm doing. It's amazing. So thank you very much. And we are all here to do something very, very important, not just in this world, but it's, something very important going on in the universe here. And you need to realise your role in that and your place in that and how important you are in the scheme of things. So don't underestimate who you are. And I've got this little quote here from a lady that shared it with me. Don't underestimate me because I have more patience than God. I thought that was a really good one. So ultimately, I want you to, and this is my quote now, comes the day when we must face ourselves. So it's time to decide, Neo. This is the wrap-up statement. Comes the day when we must face ourselves. It is time to decide, Neo, what you're going to do from here on in, from this day, from this moment, moving forward. Where are you going to launch your intentions from to implement your intentions in this world? Because you actually do have the authority to do that. And so the platform that you launch your intentions from is the key to your forward momentum in this world. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful. All right, everyone, that's it for tonight. Yeah, big hugs for everyone. I guess they can't unmute. For those of you who can unmute, feel free to unmute and just say your farewells, and we shall meet again very soon.
Thanks for your beautiful smiles, Cha-Cha. They were awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everyone. I feel everyone's energy here, and I know this community is going to grow and blossom because we're here, we're doing it, and it's going to happen. I feel it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for contributing so much.